Well, welcome everyone. My name is Adam Cole. I'm the founder of Join the Journey. As you've already heard, we are excited to have you as part of our Spark Biz program that begins here at boot camp, learning, growing, getting the fundamentals. I'm seeing everyone with notepads. That's incredible. And then it really continues when you get your loan, and then we want to keep
Hear you
now. Then we want to keep going and seeing you thrive along the way. Jim, do you want to just interpret that real quick?
Okay. Oh, hi, Adam. So everyone here actually understands English. It's just that maybe no. I think it's an accent issue where they're saying that they can't actually understand what you're saying. But anyway, so
okay. It's good to hear. So, without further ado, though, I will introduce our speaker today, Rebecca Ballard. She is.
Hi. Good to be here, and I look forward to getting to know you all as much as is possible in this format and being as helpful as I can, knowing that I probably will be learning more from you than you will learn from me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's incredible. And Rebecca, for everyone, just as a quick intro for her, she is a founder and a CEO. And so we bring on people that can speak to that idea of starting something, no matter what it is. She has a unique business that's fashion, that sells all types of women's clothing. And she does it in a way that looks at sustainability using just supply chains that are made with ethical decision points and everything. So she's truly a gem out there that is not only trying to see her business thrive, but do it in a way that makes impact. And I hope that each of you will learn from her and find that balance as well. And with that, Rebecca, we look forward to hearing from you, and just I'm going to take some notes as well, and we can't wait.
Yeah, well, it is an honor to be here, and like I said, I'm here to learn also. So what I thought I would do is start off by sharing a little bit about myself, who I am as a person, some of the things that I am involved in professionally, some of the things that I've done. This is the first conversation like this that I've done, so I have a lot to learn. Can you all understand me? Do I need to speak slower, more clearly? All right. If I start talking like this, no, I'm just teasing. If I start talking too fast, can you let me know, please?
Sure, no problem.
Say, just stop wherever I am and say, too fast.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I know that can be hard across technology and accents and all of that. And then so after I share a little bit about who I am, what I've done professionally, where I am, and some of my background, I would love to hear from you. In terms of today, I have not prepared a long presentation for you to sit through and listen to. I think you can go on the internet and find books out there or things online about how to start a business 101. What I would love to do is talk about anything that is really what's kind of called like a pain point in the startup process. So what's the biggest challenge that you have? What's the biggest roadblock? What do you feel like is keeping you from getting to that next step? What is something where you're laying in bed at night and you're like, I just don't know if this piece is coming together, if it's going to work? and do it collaboratively. There are not easy answers to these things. I don't have all the answers. The answer may actually be in the person next to you or behind you, or the person that you're going to talk to later on today. But how can you put the pieces together and move forward? Any questions about that?
Any questions? Out about it. Oh, nothing.
All right.
Nothing.
Okay, so I'm Rebecca, and like all of you, I am many things to many people. I have many identities. I am a wife. I'm a mother. I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. I am a pandemic parent, just trying to make all the pieces work. Does that relate to anyone? Does anyone have children where this pandemic has just made your life so difficult? Raise your hand if you feel like it's been a hard season.
Like most of Katavana, ikintu kirishani potuyambira korone ikadera ndapo. So vavo ndangoni mwanza kubata pakintu nafichinja ko nafipenako ibadenda tumaime ukuboko.
Yeah, you face, yeah. So I figured other of you, I mean, this has not been an easy year. My faith is an important part of my life. I'm also in a season of some challenge and struggle. My family got coronavirus. Some of the people that I'm closest with passed away. So life can be so beautiful, but it can be so hard. And there can be so many challenges in this season too. So I come to you both with gratitude for being here, but in a season of challenge and grief and struggle, which I think, entrepreneurship is in many ways finding the beauty and the opportunities and the connections in times of struggle. How can these pieces come together? I am a lawyer. I have been blessed to have been I've been to 50 countries in my life, so I've been blessed to travel a lot. I have yet to visit yours, but after the pandemic, I would love to do more traveling. The closest I've been is South Africa, so I have a lot more traveling to do in Africa. I also worked in a nonprofit where I advise social entrepreneurs. So question, can anyone, how would you describe the difference between an entrepreneur and a social entrepreneur?
I think here most of the people that are here, we're all just entrepreneurs. None of them really does anything to do with not-for-profit. So they're all here.
So the thing is, you don't have to do a not-for-profit to be a social entrepreneur. So of all of you here, could somebody define social entrepreneur to me? Maybe someone in the audience.
Social entrepreneur.
Well, I'll give you an example. You see these earrings that I'm wearing? I think they're pretty. I like them. They're not from a company that I founded. They're from another company. And they are made by materials that would have been thrown away. So this wood right here would have just gone to waste. And people are trying to use as many recycled or renewable materials as possible. And the people who make these earrings, it's a group with survivors of human trafficking. So it's women who have been through some really big difficulties in their lives and got out of that circumstance. And now they are working on beauty and wellness products to share with the rest of us, sharing from their journeys and their experiences. So kind of going back to that theme of there's pain and challenge and struggle and strife in the world. How can your entrepreneurship, how can it help there? Hey, welcome. So I founded a company called Maven. Oh yeah. Is there a question?
No. You can proceed.
Okay. So I was really frustrated because I love clothing, but I couldn't find clothes that matched my career and were made in a way that were thoughtful about people. So I don't know what the garment industry is like in your country, but there's so many places where people are exploited, where people are taken advantage of in the workplace. And there's so many ways that the workplace might harm the environment too. Like the dyes from clothing could be put into rivers and those would hurt communities. So I decided to do something about it. So I started a company called Maven Women that creates clothes where we try and care for the people who make the clothes and care for our planet. So we've developed a thoughtful supply chain, and that is hard to do. And that's something that I encourage everyone to think about, is if you are creating, if you aren't doing a service, but you're actually creating a good, how is that good not just doing well by you, by bringing you and your family revenue, by bringing you income, which is so important and so important for women to be in the entrepreneurial space with all of your, all the brilliant ideas that women have, but also thinking about, if you're making food and selling that food, is it coming from crops that are caring for the land? Or is there pesticide that's being used that might hurt the community that some of the crops are being grown in? So that's me, and that's Maven Women. And now what I would love is to get some questions from you. I'd love to hear from a couple of you to share with me what you're working on and share the biggest challenge that you're facing right now.
abalambile pamangana salondora wositoro watema business oboshe mgetema business nchi osa watema business sema kama tapani basi kulibe na bashizungu yemwe nikukamba kabisa mukukambira nini kukamba yapatana nini zina potesla mwana desumbre must introduce you.
One second, I will be right back while you all, I'm so sorry, I'll be right back.
No. Don't be shy, everybody.
Right. I'm so sorry about that. Like I said. Hi.
Hi. The only challenge which we are facing right now.
I'm sorry, I can't hear all that well. Maybe closer to the microphone.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Hi. Yeah, on the business challenge, like this time because of the pandemic, most of the things, the prices have come up. So when you go for orders, you find like things are almost being increased day by day. And the business is becoming a bit slow. So we are facing such a challenge that we can have the orders, we cannot sell them in the due time, which are supposed to finish. And in the same business, yeah.
And
So
what business is this that you have?
Business, I do eggs. I do sales eggs for on sale, on wholesale. Yeah. With some other vegetables, rice.
Well, that sounds delicious. That's what I made my son to eat for lunch today, is vegetables and rice. So there certainly is a big need for that.
The eggs, because the eggs are just becoming a problem. Some of our farmers have stopped because of the increase of the feed. So we are having challenges. We can only have maybe twice in a week. So that's one, it's also a challenge.
Absolutely. So I hear a number of things going on. So one is demand has been decreased in light of the pandemic. I've heard prices have gone up, and that there's also price fluctuations. So the price may go up and then it may stay up, it may go down, it may go up more. There's a lot of uncertainty. And then it's this world that we're all living in the pandemic, right? We don't know what is going to happen. So I would love to brainstorm around this because I think a lot of other people have faced this. Can you raise your hand in the group if you have had your demand decrease with the pandemic? I have. Has anyone else had their demand decrease during the pandemic? Okay. Let's ask this. Has anyone not had their demand decrease during the pandemic? Has anyone been like, had it stay the same? Is there anyone where it stayed the same? No, not for me. My demand's gone way down. All right. How about price? Has anyone else had the prices of what they need to use for their business increase during the pandemic?
Yeah, just regional.
Has anyone else had that? So it looks like that's not as common, but demand has gone down for everyone. All right. How many people have struggled with planning uncertainty for their business around price or anything else in the pandemic? I have. Absolutely. So is there anyone here, and I'm happy to share how I've handled less of a demand. Is there anyone here who feels like they have found a workable solution to this? Workable, not ideal, not perfect, not great, but something workable.
We're just trying to comply with the new norm situation.
I'm sorry?
We are just trying to comply with the new norm, the solution. It's a new norm. We are just trying to cope up with it, just like that. We're just trying.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can tell you what I've done with the demand. So what I do with the demand is I have tried to spend as little money as possible. So I stopped, basically I put a lot of things with the business on hold. That may not be a realistic solution for all of you, but for me, I put a lot of things on hold and I've used this as a preparation time. So I haven't been doing as much production right now. And so that way I'm keeping the expenses lower. And by keeping the expenses lower, it's not going to hurt the business as much with the demand being lower. Has anyone else tried that strategy?
We are doing it like that.
I'm sorry?
We are doing it like that. We are trying to adjust some of the things so that we put under one roof.
Yeah, so it sounds like we're all doing similar things. Is there anyone else who's trying another strategy to deal with a decrease in demand? Yeah, this is a very hard one, and there are not easy answers here. And it's not like we've lived through a pandemic in our lifetimes before either. So like, it's heartbreaking, all of the uncertainty. We don't know how long it's going to last. We don't know when it's going to be over. And we don't know what the world is going to look like when it's over. So there's just tremendous uncertainty right now. I thank you so much for sharing about that. How else could I be helpful in terms of talking about this pain point? Well, would anyone else like to share something about the business that they're working on and one of the challenges that they're facing now? Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi.
Hey.
My name is Precious Nayangwe, a mother of 4 children, married. I'm doing my business at New Soweto market.
You're
But
doing your
right
business
now,
at the supermarket, you said?
it's a new Soweto market. More where they order things. You get it?
I'm sorry, I might need someone to type it. I can't hear it. So what is it?
The new Soweto market where they
Oh, the
order
new
things.
Soweto market. Yeah.
Yes, yes. That's where I am there. So there are so many big challenges we face right there. Most of the time, when you order things, then things they don't go well. You face a lot of challenges because you are planning to do something which will go forward. When your business is not okay, you decrease in your profit.
Absolutely. So it sounds like just a lot of uncertainty about ordering, that you're trying to order things and what you want, what you need isn't coming in. Is it hard to get the same things that you need?
Yes, right. Like right now, most of the borders are closed. So when you want to order things, those which are in, the prices are high. So when you want to order them, like last time you ordered about 220 kwacha. When you go there the next day, you find it on 240 kwacha, which means the price is going higher
Oh,
each and
yeah.
every.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and this is a question so first of all, like that's so hard. That's such a hard situation to have the uncertainty about availability and price. I have a friend who has a food business where she makes meals and delivers them to people. And in her business, with the pandemic, she's not always able to get the ingredients that she needs to. So she will need to let people know, like she'll tell people in advance what she's going to make for them. And then something won't come in that she needs, and she'll need to change the recipe for it. So that's something it's like that she's done, is finding customers who understand the fact that there's a lot of uncertainty now and who are loyal to her and can navigate that. Are there any programs out there to provide financial support, relief, loans, something to get people through this pandemic season? And that may be more of a question for Jenny, Donald, April, Adam, or you all may know of that, in terms of just all the financial uncertainty to help things stay afloat for the next 6 months.
I don't think they have. Chim, let's direct this question,
Jim would,
to you. So in the United States, we have what we call, we have government relief coming, and there's relief for businesses, like a program called the Paycheck Protection Program. And businesses, nonprofit and regular business, could apply for a loan during the pandemic, and then potentially have that loan completely forgiven as if it was a grant that you don't have to pay back. Is Zambia doing anything like that?
No, the government has provided what they call stimulus packages, but those don't trickle down to the micro entrepreneurs. Usually what happens is the loans are given to the banks, then the banks can lend to the big customers, but not to it doesn't actually trickle down to the regular micro entrepreneurs like the ones
they're more for like a large company. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't really apply in this case.
Okay.
What about things like Kiva, like nonprofits or faith-based groups that provide loans to people?
Kiva, the last time I dealt with Kiva, it was dealing with Zona. Then they would give loans to their agents, but it doesn't apply in this case.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these entrepreneurs are looking to us not only as business support and input and guidance, but also to get their loan to help their business grow to that next level. And so that is an end result goal of boot camp.
Okay, yeah, and that all makes sense. And it's helpful for me to know the context as to what is and what isn't available.
So
a question.
Oh, I'm
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, Rebecca. I was just wanted to
Yeah, feel free. Yeah, please jump on in because I want to be helpful. And this pandemic situation is a lot of uncertainty, and these are very hard things that we're grappling with.
Exactly. So, Chim, just to reconfirm what we're hearing, kind of items that they might need to run their business or to make the things that they do as they go to buy supply, those costs are kind of just escalating every day without notice, correct?
Yeah. So like, for example, what Precious was explaining, it's a similar situation where today she orders, yeah, so for example, today she buys a box of tomato, maybe at 250 kwacha, which is about $10. Then tomorrow she'll find that the same quantity is now going for maybe for $12. Like, this is what's happening. Prices are just escalating without notice. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Has any so maybe like I'd love to do a bit of a group brainstorm on this topic and see if there may be some collective solutions too. What about other solutions? It sounds like lots of people have businesses in the food area. Is that correct?
Because we started today. Vegetables in okay, it's just a mixture, but I think the majority are into fruits and vegetables.
That makes sense. Has anyone in the group found a new supply solution, like done more growing of their own versus things that they would get from other people, or developed a new type of relationship? Is there anyone who's made any type of kind of like pivot in their business where they've found some solution?
For example, but in Binomba, Nzamba Chakushanga Neka, or in the other party of neighbor here, Sango, but there are an example. A party of what's covered here, Sango.
Then there's a period for them where they're about. So the shadow of the Iran challenge because you want to switch on, you just follow that plan. But the Elon Ali will not Malala, I didn't know what he now fighting. I get to
Okay, so there's one of the entrepreneurs is actually explaining that she sells groundnuts. So there was a period where the prices are very high. She had actually planted some at her farm or backyard. So what she did was, instead of ordering at that time, she was selling what she had produced. Then she was able to at least to minimize she was able to fight those high prices.
That's great. Yeah, that's something that I was wondering, is if there's the ability to do some of the growing yourself. So maybe that's something to think about, is finding a new channel to get what you need for production. And that channel may be you, or it may be a friend or a family member as well. Are there any collective, and this is kind of a question for the group, are there any collective solutions, like different people in the room banding together? So tomatoes are one of my very favorite foods. I love tomatoes. I love making things with tomatoes. And if tomatoes aren't available, is there an option for a couple of you to come together and band together collaboratively? Or maybe I should first ask the question, are you all working in isolation, or are you partnering together sometimes to support each other?
No, everyone here is, so first of all, today is our first day. Then all of them here are just independent. None of them does any group or collaboration. So everyone's just coming from the different stores.
All right, yeah,
But definitely that is something that start doing, especially that they're trading from the same area. So of course, this is the this is the starting point. So I'm sure after the boot camp, we should be able to start setting up things like collaborations where people can work together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I think that's wonderful. Maybe that someone's yard is more suited for tomatoes, or they have a friend where it's more suited for tomatoes, and then that could be some additional revenue for the person who sets it up, and also help with the pricing. Any other? So I'll phrase the question this way: anyone else who'd like to share something about their business, or just ask a general question about entrepreneurship?
Anything about business. What's it about business? So you want to go to push up, or you want to, madam, business here. Ever naturally, I'm going to go to Chapel. So we have it to Alanda.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Era você que atua para fone, você atua para muito sumo, cada um pouco aqui. E aí na fone. O caplan. Ah, o que hello, o caplan. Nega chiba. Draw for. So much to introduce Monday to
Hi. Hi, how are you? Good, thanks. Oh, I need to hear just a little bit more of the microphone.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Regina Nawila. I sell salt and onion. Now
Salt,
these days,
salt and onion.
yes, salt. Yes.
Love
now
salt.
these days, business is decreasing because of the things are very high. They are increasing every after 2 days. So we are finding difficulties in business nowadays. So we just need people to help us to boost our businesses, because we are not managing to do what we want. Otherwise, things are very difficult for us. So we just need your help, madam. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to help. I know that these are hard seasons and very difficult.
Yes.
Rebecca, can I ask you a question that might help them? So you said that you pulled back a little bit.
Yeah.
Can you maybe explain a little bit more how you did that, and how you've also been able to take care of your family and your kids? How have you all done
well,
that?
I mean, and I'll just be honest and be really transparent, is that like my husband has a secure job where he's had demand during the pandemic. So I've pulled back things with my business, but we also had savings. And then my husband has a secure revenue. So demand went way down for the type of product that I create, because people do not want to be buying a lot of clothes during the pandemic. It's not a season for shopping. People need to eat, but a lot of people can just, they just want to wear the clothes that they already have. So what I decided to do is I wanted to maintain all of our partnerships and ensure that our partners are able to get paid, so that when things hopefully come back, I still have those partnerships that I can use. So I had some savings in the business, and then some personal savings, and then so honestly, for me, I had a safety net, and I know that not everyone has that. And I also just want to lament that a lot of other businesses in the fashion space that don't have the safety nets, they're not doing well now. They're not weathering the storms. They are closing up, and it is a hard season. And it's particularly tragic because you see this really affecting women as well, because of the caregiving responsibilities that women have more of. When you have things like schools being closed, daycares being closed, things, not having as many options for children, you have women doing more caregiving responsibilities. And that's something that I've had to take on as well too, is I've needed to do more to take care of the children during the pandemic than I ordinarily would, because some of the supports that I was receiving. So that's honestly, right now, I'm keeping things more in a holding pattern. But that's a unique circumstance where I'm able to rely on some of the savings. And a lot of fashion businesses, a lot of individuals are not in that place. And there was a big package passed in the United States recently to try and just give people more financial supports to make it through this season, which is affecting a lot of people. I would love to have the answer to this situation about pandemic and entrepreneurship and women's entrepreneurship and business and small business. And that would be incredible to have it. I think that there are seasons of feast and there are seasons of famine. And this right now is a season for our world that is more a season of famine and struggle and challenge. And maybe this is more kind of on a spiritual note, which hopefully, I feel like this is a group that also lives in that vein. But sometimes you just have to survive. And you're like, this might not be the best month for my business or the best year for my business, but here's how I can make it work in this season. So they say that happiness is based on expectations minus, or it's reality minus compared to your expectations. So if you're expecting that this is going to be a season where your business is going to grow in a big way, some businesses have found that. Zoom, what we're on right now, I think Zoom is doing pretty well right now. Lots and lots of people are doing Zoom. But in other businesses, especially in the clothing business. Now, the food business is interesting because people need to eat. Are you all finding in terms of the demand, where are people getting their food from who were shopping from you before? So if people were going to you for fruits and vegetables and salt and rice, where are they getting those things instead, or are they reducing the amount that they're eating?
Curious as to
I
the
think
answer.
I think what really happens is, like in most cases, like here, there are certain things which are perceived to be like a luxury. Things like fruits, for example. Of course, a fruit is a daily necessity, but in times of when things are really really bad, you definitely forgo things like apples and concentrate on buying food for the house. Things like an egg, yes, it is, but there are times where an egg is now considered to be a luxury. You'd
Right.
rather buy things like things that people will actually eat at home. So that is why you find that things like demand for eggs, fruits comes down because people don't have disposable or don't have actual money. They don't have money even at things like disposable. So you find that things which are perceived to be like luxury are now people stop eating and the demand just drops. That's what exactly. I think that's just the general thing.
That makes sense. And are most of the businesses there focused on more things that are considered luxuries now rather than basic provisions?
Sorry?
Are most of the businesses there focused on things like eggs and fruit that people are foregoing now?
Mm.
Is
Yeah.
the question.
Yeah. So
So
that's
are people, that makes sense. What about, react to this idea, tell me if it's good or bad. What about something that is like what are people eating a lot of now? Are people doing a lot of rice?
our staple food is shima, which is produced from maize meal. That's our staple food. So rice, yes, people eat rice, but our staple food is shima. Yeah.
Yeah,
So things like rice again, it can be considered as luxury. I would rather buy mealie meal than buy rice because that's our staple food. And then you find that the general populace actually cannot eat rice every day because you can eat it every day, but there are times where you just don't feel like eating it. You'd rather eat your staple food. That's how we.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Does anyone here have a business where they make the staple food or work with the staple food?
Yeah, well, yes, we have some. We have a lady here that sells mealie meal in her store. Yeah, but she doesn't make, but she sells.
How has that been? I'd love to hear how that has worked. Hi.
Diana Mwanza. I'm the mother of 5. And I keep orphans, 4 orphans in my home. I sell a mini meal. We order meal per bag. It's 130 per bag. And we sell it at 135. And if I can see the profit.
So the margins on it the margins on it are low. You feel like you don't make a lot of profit on it.
Yes. It's 5 quarters. So the profit is too low. We can't even manage in our family because I have 5 children, 4 dependents, which is 9. So I can't manage.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Yeah,
So that's the
thank you for sharing
challenge.
about that it's a very low profit margin item compared to something like an egg or tomatoes, which might, or fruits like apples, you might be a higher profit item. So it makes more sense to set up a business.
We sell eggs and that's yamaenda maningi because the area.
Jim,
So
can
that's the challenge I'm facing right now.
Yeah.
it's hard to hear some of what she's saying. Can you get the mic closer to her? Tell us a little, give us an overview of what she's said. We understand some of it, but not all of it.
Okay, no further. Okay, that's all.
Don't be shy. You have to move in close.
Okay, you can get me now?
Yes.
Okay, I was saying I'm a mother of 5.
Yes.
I'm a married woman and I keep orphans 4. So at my family, we are 12, me and my husband. So I sell mini meals. Per bag is 130. We order 130 per bag and we sell at 135 per bag. So the profit is too low. We can't manage with my family. The family is too big.
Yeah.
That's the challenge I'm facing now.
And has business slowed down for you as well?
Yes.
So
My
where else
business
are
has come
people,
down.
so where else are people getting the Millie Milk not from you?
Sorry?
Where are people buying? If they aren't buying from you, where are they going instead?
What happens is in areas like even like here, there are times where people can't afford to buy the actual 25 kg bag of mealie meal, so they will go to people who sell pre-pack. So for example, you order the 25 and then you break it down into maybe 1 kg or 2 kgs. But that also depends on the area. But where her store is located, because she tried doing the small pre-packs, but the business wasn't, the demand for those small ones wasn't really that good. The challenge that is there for things like mealie meal, the prices are highly regulated by the states because that's a staple food. So you just can't push prices anyhow. The prices are highly regulated. Yeah, so those are some of the challenges. In certain areas, you can actually do pre-packs. You can repack into smaller ones and then sell. Of course, some people, the margins are slightly higher when you do that, because if you had her pricing, her profit margin is about 25 cents per bag. But of course, if your demand drops, it means that even if your volumes, you want, it's a volume-based business, but when people don't really have money, then that's when you really feel it. So that's the challenge that she has.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Rebecca, I want to and Jim, I want to confirm what we're hearing. It's not that people go somewhere else to buy. they're actually just buying less and living on less. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So they're just reducing the amount of food they use at home.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe instead of 3 meals, maybe do 2 meals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think it's and Rebecca, I just jumped in on that because you were asking that question. And I think it's important for those who are even listening to us, or, you know, that are looking at what Join the Journey and the Spark business does, is part of why we want to bring these loans. What, you know, it's kind of, in a way, it's kind of like the small businesses here, right? And like what you've experienced, we reduce what we're doing. They've reduced what they're eating. They're actually not going to someone else. They're just reducing the amount they're buying. And I don't necessarily, like in this moment in time, like you, I don't necessarily know what that answer is, although I think some of the cooperative kind of things you've talked about are really strong ideas.
Yeah. The question and the answer to this might be no. Is there anyone who knows of, not even yourself, but someone else who has changed something about their business during the pandemic or created a new business that has been successful? Like the example that I gave right now is like where many businesses are not doing well, but Zoom, what we're on right now, the technology that we're using to connect, I imagine that Zoom is doing very well. I know there's lots of people I know who a year ago were joking, oh, I wish I had stock in Zoom. I would have made so much money if I had predicted that Zoom would be doing well. Are there any businesses during the pandemic that you know of that have had some success in your community?
For example, basi kama matunda na ambayo tunafanyia example kama familia na ndio tuna business ile pale kwa mambo na tunashinda kwa business kama kwa business kama kwa So like, for example, we have Precious here. She was saying that her main line of business has always been tomato. But now she's also diversified into dries, things like salt, soda, soya pieces, and dry fish, because what happens, or what used to happen mainly, was when she buys the tomatoes, because the demand has gone down, she would lose most of the things, because these are perishable products. So now she's gone into dries. So with dries, at least she's in terms of loss, because the items are being wasted, that has been minimized. And then she's also introduced a new line of business because of our diversifications. So I think it's a plus for her.
That's wonderful. And that's so hard to do, to take that risk and try something new in this very difficult time. I mean, I was wondering about something that, like, with where people are, and people are using less, and just it's a season of famine. It's a season of struggle and challenge for our world. This is not the season of plenty. You know, is there something where maybe a very low cost to people, but like just a little seasoning that you could put on your food that would dramatically increase the flavor, that people could afford, that wouldn't be as expensive as getting bags of tomatoes, but could just improve it a little bit, that would be affordable, that could see, it seems like the unlocks are, how can you have something that people can afford? How can you have something that maybe could be used over a period of time, that doesn't go bad as quickly? And how can you work in community, work with others, or maybe even create more yourself rather than getting from a supplier. So to me, it seems like that those are some of the pieces that I've heard today. Does it, and not that all of those solutions are going to be, or not that all of those ideas are going to actually be solutions, but it seems like in this extremely hard time, those may be some possibilities.
True. Very true.
Anyone else who wants to even just brainstorm an idea that they have that might be helpful for their business or someone else's business?
There's a question.
Hi, and maybe we can end on this note too, because I know that we're at time. Hi. I'm glad to be talking with you.
I'm married. Yes, business, talking to business. I wanted to find out, we've been doing different types of business. Sometimes you do this business, you see that it's not going well, you try another one. Now I wanted to find out, as we are communicating to you, are you going to help us like sending flyers or teachings like entrepreneur, how we are going to manage our business?
I think that's maybe more of a question for Jenny and Donald and Adam. This is my first time chatting with a group like this, and I I want to be helpful, but I'm still learning this program as well.
So when you are doing a business, for instance, you are doing a business of restaurant. I was doing a business of restaurant. I put someone working there. Then when I saw that the business, when COVID came, it wasn't going well, I switched off. I started selling chickens, village chickens. Yes. Then when I was selling village chickens, I saw that village chickens were going. The business was going up because I sold to my fellow people who are doing the restaurant, and up to now, this business at least it's making money. So I wanted to find out, can I continue? I can switch to another one because I wanted to switch to another one while I'm doing the same business.
That's a really amazing story about evaluating where you are, seeing what is and isn't working, and then pivoting. I had this little Post-it note that I put on my desk, and man, like life is hard, and sometimes it's just really, really hard. But I put up, there's no such thing as failure, just a pivot. So it's not working as well, or even if it's working okay, let's maybe try something else, but being thoughtful about what you're trying. Now, why do you think it was that chicken worked better?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that happened?
The way I think about it, yes, it's doing fine, but I wanted like to extend. Is it going to be okay in that way that I extend with the same one I have? Well, I changed already.
Yeah. Well, I guess my question to you, it sounded like you changed what you were doing. So what do you think it was that made that be okay in this season? Because in the pandemic, I think okay is very good. What do you think it was that caused you, that made that choice a successful one?
Okay. I saw it okay because when I was doing the restaurant, there are my other business people were doing the same restaurant. Then when they were doing it, I thought I should sell the chickens to them so that I make profit out of them because we're doing the same business and they know me well. So they've given me a lot of market while they've continued with the same business. And I can't go back.
That's great. So it sounds like you found a bit of a new market. So you stayed within the food area, but you thought maybe not just directly to consumers, maybe to restaurants. And then you thought, what's a product that the restaurants need? And you use the relationships that you have to make that possible. And to me, those are brilliant learnings. Is if the market isn't working, maybe try a different one. And same product or different product. And then how do you get in? And life is so much about relationships, right? So having those relationships where you could have those conversations, go to people and say, here's my idea, or even go to them, not say, here's my idea, and pitch it to them. Be like, I'm going to sell this to you. Here's why you need to be getting chicken from me.
Yes. I think
So I think that's a beautiful like success story to end our time on. And thank you. And once again, I hope that this has been helpful. There's no template for the pandemic. The best thing that I can say is survive and lean on each other, whatever each other means to you. I think community is so important where possible in light of all the pandemic restrictions. But this is a season to survive and lean on each other. If it feels hard, it's because it is hard. But simply surviving and making it through and taking care of your needs and that of your family and that of your neighbor. And if you're able to pivot your business and grow your business in this season, wow, that's powerful and wonderful. And if you feel like all you can do is just make it through the day, that's okay too. That is also something that is admirable because you are some strong women taking care of your families. And I appreciate you chatting with me today.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I concur with you with the grouping. The group, like doing the business in a group. Why I say so, because if you are holding each other, like you are making a connection, when working together, someone falls, you will be able to make that person rise. I think the business, okay, I concur with you, like having groups. Because groups, no one will fall because we are leaning to each other.
Yes.
I think that I liked it.
Yay.
That's awesome.
Thank you all.
And Chim, I just want to point out again, you said this is day one. This is the first day of boot camp. So I think some of the questions that have come up and the ideas, potential ideas will be generated throughout the week. And maybe I think by the end of the week, we'll be able to maybe answer some more questions for all of our entrepreneurs there. Yeah. So Rebecca, thank you so much for sharing. Adam, I see you're back there. I'm going to hand it back to Adam.
No, I just wanted to second all that you just said, Jenny, and just thank Rebecca again. You said it best, Jenny, is that we're learning as we are learning with this process. And Rebecca, I think you just captured so many just nuggets that we can even shape this program on. The unity of cohorts and building from others, this idea of knowing the environment, pivoting within it, maybe not producing as much, that might help expenses, and we have cash flow on Thursday. It was a good forecast. I don't think even our cash flow founder could put it as good as you did, of just like kind of how you have those acorns in the right places and to be able to sustain during the pandemic for anyone that has a business. I think a lot of has to go off to you hats off to you, so to speak. So I'm just amazed. And with that, let's end it here. Chim, I know you've got some more work to do, but we usually do a group photo. I'm on my phone right now. If Jenny or someone could at least do the photo for us. But would love to capture this. And again, thank you. And I know we'll hopefully have you back.
Okay, so you're assuming I actually have ever done the photo on this. Okay, so
usually just like snippet I do, or a screenshot or something.
Is that what you do? You do just a screenshot? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just tell my computer to do this. Hang on. It would be called on my Mac. If I were on the PC, I could remember what it is. Oh, no, I'm not going to add
April
it.
just said she can get the screenshot. So
Okay,
thanks,
beautiful.
April.
Can someone else get it? That's one
Yeah,
of my
let's just go
challenges
ahead
today.
and smile, and we'll probably just capture it when we get the recording.
Okay.
So smile, everyone. Perfect. All right. Thanks again,
Someone else
Rebecca.
got it. Yay.
Yeah,
Nice
we
to
got it.
hear.
We
Pleasure
got
to
it. I
be
think we're
here.
good. Well, good stuff. And again, thanks to everyone for joining. And we will see you all soon.
See you tomorrow.
Back tomorrow. I don't know if we have a founders talk tomorrow, but we'll at least check in with y'all and see how you're doing.
I think it's
Okay.
me.
Oh, there
Thank
you go.
you.
Well, Jenny, you guys already know Jenny, so she's got something interesting hopefully planned.
Okay, thank you.
We'll see. Okay, bye guys.
I know it will be interesting. Let me put it that way.
Okay. Bye. See you
See you,
tomorrow.
Bye-bye,
everyone.
thank you.